Good morning. So today I'm going to talk about values. Now, values are those core principles that are our way of being, that are kind of show up how we behave. Now, they're inbuilt in us from the moment we're born, generally, from family and so forth, but we often don't articulate them. Yes, you might have them on your website. Yes, you might all have your organizational values like showing respect, innovation, all sorts of things, integrity. There's loads of words that we use. What I want to talk about is what they mean to you and how they show up for you. Now, yesterday I had a really interesting day. I love going to organizations and helping them define their values and what it means. So, for example, one organization might say innovation. Yes, we all innovation, but actually that can feel quite scary to a lot of people because change is challenging. And innovation means you have to experiment, and therefore experiment can be challenging because we are putting ourselves up to fail. Now, as you know from yesterday, I always talk about failure as merely feedback. It's never failure. But the point is when you're innovating, there's no guarantee. So therefore, you're putting yourself up. But above the parapet, it can be absolutely transformational. And certainly when I was in Afghanistan, the surgeons were extraordinary, as they always are, and actually redefined what a non-survivable injury is. So soldiers that came in with massive injuries, we had our first triple amputation when I was out there, and these guys would never survive. But because it was there was nothing lost, they were going to die anyway. So let's just see what we can do to make a difference. And it was incredible. And now it was absolutely incredible how they completely redefined a non-survivable injury. That takes courage. That takes experimentation. So some people are not ready for all that. They just want to sort of go along. But however, also, the values we have can clash with other people's values. So if somebody's value is respect and somebody's value is integrity, that can be a clash. Some people sadly still go by their position and think you must respect me. And actually, they don't deserve respect because they're not behaving as a leader. They're hiding behind their role. And therefore, if somebody else with integrity would say, well, I don't respect you, you've got nothing for me to respect. And so that can be a clash. But what was really interesting is that sometimes we can define our values very different to what they think they are. Now, I've done a bit of work on this myself with my coach and so forth. Now, I always thought my values were integrity, justice, and initially it was collaboration. Then I realized it was connection, of which collaboration comes under it. Now, for me, it's always about doing my utmost to do the right thing, being honest and integrity and all that stuff. Integrity means all that, trusting yourself, showing up powerfully, not worried, despite what the challenges might be, etc., etc. But when I dived a bit deeper with this, it was really interesting. And then we concluded that actually it's not integrity, it's doing the right thing no matter how hard it is. And courage, and actually rather than connection, it's building relationships. And that really kind of hit me in the heart. That's exactly what I mean. So sometimes words don't mean anything. And I was thinking actually also, yeah, while integrity is absolutely passionate to me, I have integrity with myself. I will get in that water every morning, even though it's freezing, literally 3 degrees. I will do it. That is my commitment to myself, for me to stay in integrity with myself. However, and I sort of thinking about this, if we talk about, oh, I'm in integrity all the time, well, it makes you think, well, why do you have to say that? Isn't that not normal? The fact you highlight that your value is integrity, yes, of course it is, but it should be all of us. So it's, well, does that mean you're not in integrity because you got to announce it? So it's all very interesting, the whole values thing. So what I would say to you, because it drives every decision we make, if we are clear about our values, how we articulate our values, then this is how we make decisions. This is how we lead our teams. This is how we communicate with each other, particularly in challenging conversations. What are our boundaries? Our boundaries are driven by our values, what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is not good. So have a think about what your values are. If you've got your values in your organization, have a think about what your organization values are, and do they match yours? And I always encourage organizations to recruit according to values. Once you've got your values clear, then you can recruit to those values, and it saves a lot of stress and aggravation later on. So that's my tip for you for today. So have a think about your values, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.